Hi everyone, welcome back to CFI Helper. This video is going to be a little different. I'm going to try and explain carb heat in the least amount of words possible. I have a couple diagrams here. We're going to talk about how the fuel travels and how the air travels to meet in the venturi. So, gravity-fed system, fuel goes down, through fuel shutoff, through fuel strainer, through carburetor, to engine. Fuel comes up through here, goes in float chamber, gets sprayed out through nozzle. Let's start with carb heat off. Cold, filtered air goes through here, move to this diagram, through here, into carburetor. Hot air exits system. So with carb heat off, colder air, okay? Cold air goes through main passage, meets fuel out of the fuel nozzle. Venturi, because of shape, creates low pressure area. Fuel and air, because of that low pressure area, speed up, like a hose. Think about covering half of the top of the hose. The water speeds up, right? So air speeds up through low pressure. What happens to the temperature? Gets colder. What can happen when we have cold and moist air? Ice. So when carb heat is off, there is chance for ice buildup near the throttle valve. What about carb heat on? The cold filtered air now comes up through here, exits system. When you turn the carb heat on, all you're doing is changing where that air is coming from. No longer is the air coming from the air filter. Now, with carb heat on, outside, unfiltered air goes through here. These are exhaust lines. Hot engine exhaust goes through exhaust lines, goes through the muffler shroud, the exhaust muffler, goes through exhaust pipe. So, what is the temperature of this exhaust muffler? It's hot. This outside air goes around exhaust muffler, becomes hot air, goes into carburetor. So, with carb heat on, now you're directing hot air into the carburetor because it went around the exhaust muffler. Back to this diagram. Hot air goes through main air passage, meets fuel after sprayed out from nozzle, still goes through low pressure area, so yes, temperature still drops, but now warm air, happy air. With carb heat on, we can prevent ice buildup or melt ice that has been built up. So how do we use carb heat when increasing and reducing power? If you're reducing power, we start with carb heat on. This way, we don't shock cool the engine. After we've turned carb heat on, then we can reduce our power or pull back throttle. What about increasing power? Increasing power will increase our power first, allow the engine to heat, then carb heat off. So in all these instances, we have hotter air going through the main air passage. Overall, when you have more power in, your engine is hotter. So the chance of carb ice is slimmer. However, when you start to reduce that power, we want to keep our carb heat on because your engine will be producing less power, it'll be cooler, and that carb heat on is going to help prevent ice buildup. Just remember that all you're doing when you're turning your carb heat on and off is changing the air source, changing where the air source is coming from. It is either cold filtered air or outside unfiltered air that goes around exhaust muffler and becomes hot. Which is also why turning carb heat on is not recommended on the ground because you're bringing in outside unfiltered air. And on the ground, that can be dangerous. I hope this was helpful and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.